When I was young, I was not born into an environment where English was everywhere. For many people, English feels like a mountain, huge, difficult, impossible to climb. But let me tell you, even the tallest mountain can be conquered if you take one step every day. The problem is, most people take one step and then stop. If you want lightning speed, don't stop. Consistency beats talent always. First, start small, but never underestimate small habits. Read one page, watch a short video, listen to a song, but do it every day. 10 minutes of practice every day for 1 year is far better than 10 hours of study once a month. Many people wait for the perfect teacher, the perfect course, or the perfect timing. That waiting is the biggest enemy. Start with what you have, where you are, and grow from there. When people talk about learning English, they often imagine it as a long, difficult, and painful journey. They see it as a subject full of rules, exceptions, and exams, something that takes years before you can even feel comfortable. But in truth, learning English at lightning speed is possible when you approach it the right way. It does not require you to be the smartest person in the room. It does not require you to be born into privilege. And it does not require you to spend huge amounts of money. What it truly requires is a clear mindset, the right habits, and the courage to continue even when things feel uncomfortable. The first proven step is to start small but stay consistent. Many people make the mistake of overloading themselves in the beginning. They buy thick grammar books, enroll in too many courses, or spend hours studying one day and then burn out the next. Learning a language is not about sudden bursts of energy. It is about daily exposure. Even 10 minutes of daily practice can change everything if you repeat it for weeks and months without giving up. Imagine a child learning to walk. That child does not run a marathon on the first day. The child takes one step, falls, gets up, takes another step, falls again, but eventually those tiny steps become natural. Learning English is the same. If you take small but regular steps, you will move faster than the person who tries to jump high but quits too soon. The second proven step is to fall in love with the language. If you see English only as an exam subject or a tool for passing interviews, you will never enjoy the process. Your brain learns faster when there is curiosity, when there is joy. Think about the things you already love: movies, music, sports, technology, business, or travel. Connect English to those things. Watch your favorite films in English, listen to songs and look up the lyrics, read short articles about the topics that excite you. If you love basketball, read about basketball in English. If you love cooking, watch recipes in English. When you connect the language to your passions, you don't need external motivation because the activity itself becomes fun. Many people complain that they cannot focus, but the real problem is they are trying to learn from material that bores them. If you surround yourself with things you already love, English becomes a part of your life, not a burden on your shoulders. The third proven step is to learn from real people, not just from books. Books and grammar guides can only take you so far. You may memorize hundreds of words, but if you never use them, they will disappear from your memory. Language is alive and it grows in conversation. Do not be afraid to open your mouth and practice. If you don't have partners, talk to yourself, record your own voice, or join online forums where people are also practicing. Remember how children learn. They don't study grammar before they start speaking. They imitate, repeat, make mistakes, and keep going. That is why they learn so quickly. Adults, on the other hand, often block themselves with overthinking. They say, I will speak when I am perfect. But waiting for perfection is a trap. Real people, real conversations, and real practice are what create fluency. Even if your grammar is not correct, communication is still possible. People will understand you if you have the courage to try. The fourth proven step is to turn mistakes into fuel. One of the biggest fears learners have is being laughed at. They are afraid that their accent is strange or their sentences are broken. But here is the truth if you want to move fast. You cannot be afraid of falling. Mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something you did not know before. Every time you are corrected, you become better than yesterday. If someone laughs, let them laugh. Their laughter cannot stop your progress unless you give it power. Think of mistakes as the tuition fee you pay for learning. The faster you make mistakes, the faster you will reach fluency. People who hide from mistakes also hide from growth. The fifth proven step is to teach what you learn. Teaching does not mean you have to be a professor. It simply means sharing. When you learn a new word, tell a friend about it. When you understand a grammar rule, explain it to someone else in simple language. When you watch an English video, summarize it and share the idea with others. This process strengthens your memory and forces your brain to organize knowledge more clearly. The more you give, the more you receive. Teaching multiplies your learning speed because it transforms passive knowledge into active skill. These 5 steps, when practiced with discipline and patience, create lightning speed progress. Consistency builds a foundation, passion makes it enjoyable, conversation makes it real, mistakes make it stronger, and teaching makes it permanent. Every learner who follows this path we'll find that English is not an impossible mountain, but a powerful bridge to opportunities, relationships, and a bigger world. Many people believe that learning English is only about talent, about who has a natural gift for languages, but the truth is talent plays only a small role compared to effort, practice, and attitude. The reason so many learners feel stuck is not because English is too difficult, but because they do not have a clear system to follow. Without a system, they study randomly, memorize a few words, forget them the next day, try again, and soon feel disappointed. If you want to learn English effectively and quickly, you must first change the way you think about learning. English is not a subject in school, it is a skill, and like every skill, it requires consistent training, discipline, and real-life use. The first important step is to set a strong reason why you want to learn. If your reason is weak, your motivation will disappear when the journey becomes uncomfortable. Ask yourself, why do I need English? What opportunities will it bring? What doors will it open in my life? Maybe you want to study abroad. Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to connect with people from other countries. Maybe you want to enjoy books, movies, or music without translation. Your personal reason is the engine that will keep you moving when everything else feels heavy. People who have a clear reason always learn faster because their energy is focused and their motivation is natural. The second step is to build daily habits that keep the language around you. Learning English once in a while will never work. It has to be part of your daily environment. Change your phone's settings to English. Follow social media accounts in English. Keep a small notebook where you write new words every day. Listen to podcasts or news while commuting. Watch videos in English for entertainment. The key is not long hours, but daily contact. The brain learns best when it receives small doses regularly. Just like watering a plant, little drops every day keep it alive and growing. If you water once a month, it will die. Language works the same way. It needs constant presence in your life. The third step is to focus on communication rather than perfection. Many learners waste months worrying about grammar rules and correct tenses before they even open their mouth. But language is not about rules. It is about connection. You do not need perfect grammar to express your thoughts. You need confidence and courage. When a child learns to speak, no one gives them grammar lessons first. They start with broken sentences, wrong words, strange pronunciation, and yet they are understood, they are encouraged, and they improve naturally. Adults must learn the same way. If you want speed, stop waiting until you are perfect, start speaking with whatever words you have, and perfection will come along the way. The fourth step is to use mistakes as tools, not as obstacles. Too many learners feel embarrassed when they make mistakes, so they avoid speaking. This is the slowest way to learn. The fastest learners are those who make the most mistakes because every mistake shows them what to correct and how to improve. If you never make mistakes, it means you are not trying. You are staying in your comfort zone. Instead of fearing mistakes, welcome them. Each mistake is a sign that you are moving forward, that you are practicing, that you are breaking limits. Do not hide from them. Use them to build stronger confidence and deeper understanding. The fifth step is to track your progress and celebrate small victories. Most people quit because they feel they are not improving, but the truth is they are improving, only they do not see it. Write down how many words you learned this week, record yourself speaking, and listen again after a month. Compare your writing from last year with your writing today. These small comparisons show you that you are moving forward, and this feeling of progress is the fuel that keeps you motivated. When you notice even small results, your brain becomes excited to continue, and learning feels less like a burden and more like a game you are winning. The final step is to share what you know with others. If you explain a new word, a new phrase, or a grammar rule to someone else, you reinforce it in your own memory. Teaching forces you to think clearly, and it gives you confidence that you have something valuable to share. The more you give, the more you gain. Even if you teach someone who knows less than you, the act of explaining strengthens your understanding. That is why teachers always remember better than students, because they keep teaching. When you make sharing a habit, your speed of learning multiplies. These steps together create a proven path that anyone can follow regardless of background, age, or starting level. They are not secrets, they are simple truths. But the difference is very few people actually practice them consistently. Those who do discover that English is not a mountain too high to climb, but a journey that becomes faster, easier, and more enjoyable with each step taken. When people think about learning English fast, they often imagine there is some magic trick, some secret shortcut that will make them fluent overnight. But the truth is speed comes from clarity, from discipline, and from building the right system. The first thing to understand is that English is not only a language of grammar and vocabulary, it is a language of practice, and without practice, nothing works. Too many learners spend their time memorizing long lists of words that they never use, or studying grammar rules that they cannot apply in real life. This creates frustration because knowledge without application feels heavy. If you want to learn English at lightning speed, the first step is to turn passive learning into active learning. That means speaking the words you learn, writing sentences with the grammar you study, listening actively, and repeating what you hear. Every piece of knowledge must be used immediately, otherwise it disappears. Another important step is to stop thinking like a student and start thinking like a user of the language. Students wait for teachers, they wait for instructions, they wait for exams. Users take the language and apply it in their daily lives without waiting for permission. If you want speed, you cannot wait for the perfect teacher or the perfect school. The internet has already given you everything: videos, articles, audiobooks, podcasts, online friends, and language exchange communities. Instead of waiting, you must take responsibility and dive in. When you treat English as a tool to use, not as a subject to study, your brain begins to absorb it naturally and quickly. Exposure is another powerful factor. Think of your brain as a sponge. The more English you expose it to, the faster it soaks up the language. This means you should surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change your phone and computer settings. Listen to English songs while doing daily chores. Watch movies without subtitles. Think in English when you are alone. Write your to-do lists in English. When English becomes the background of your life, your mind begins to adapt without you even noticing. Many people believe they have no time, but the truth is time is everywhere if you use it wisely. Even 5 minutes while waiting for the bus can become a lesson if you listen to a podcast or review vocabulary. It is not about finding extra time. It is about using the time you already have. Confidence is another key element for speed. Without confidence, your learning becomes slow because you hesitate, you doubt yourself, you delay action. The fastest learners are not those with the best grammar, but those with the strongest confidence. Confidence is built by action, not by waiting. Each time you speak, even with mistakes, your confidence grows. Each time you listen and understand, your confidence grows. Each time you write something and share it, your confidence grows. Do not compare yourself with others who are better than you. Compare yourself with your past self. If today you speak one more sentence than yesterday, you are moving at lightning speed. Another step is to learn how to use mistakes as your greatest teacher. Most learners avoid speaking because they fear embarrassment, but avoiding mistakes only slows progress. The moment you change your perspective and see mistakes as lessons, you will accelerate. Think of every mistake as feedback. It shows you where to focus. It shows you what to improve. It shows you your weak spots. Without mistakes, you are blind. The more mistakes you make, the more chances you get to correct yourself, and the more natural English becomes for you. Mistakes are not a wall, they are a door, and every mistake you pass through takes you closer to fluency. One more powerful way to learn fast is to connect English with your emotions. Human memory is strongest when emotions are involved. If you learn a word while laughing, you will never forget it. If you learn a phrase in a song you love, it will stay in your mind forever. If you learn through a story that inspires you, the lesson becomes part of your memory. That is why you should never limit yourself to textbooks alone. Use stories, jokes, conversations, songs, movies, and personal experiences. Make your learning emotional, and the language will stick to you without extra effort. The final element is to share your journey with others. When you share, you create accountability and motivation. Tell your friends what you are learning, teach them new words, make posts on social media in English, join study groups. Sharing makes learning alive because it connects you with people and creates feedback. Teaching what you know forces you to organize your knowledge and explain it clearly, and that clarity becomes your strength. The fastest learners are always those who share the most because every act of teaching doubles their own learning. Learning English at lightning speed is not about magic. It is about clear habits, smart exposure, emotional connection, and fearless practice. When you combine active use, user mindset, confidence, acceptance of mistakes, emotional learning, and sharing with others, the process becomes faster than you ever imagined. Most people believe that learning English is a long and painful process, something that takes years of study before you can even begin to use it with confidence. They imagine endless grammar rules, long vocabulary lists, and complicated exams. But the truth is learning English can be faster and more natural if you understand how the mind works and how skills are built. The first thing to realize is that English is not just about knowledge, it is about practice. You cannot learn swimming by reading a book, you have to enter the water. In the same way, you cannot master English by only reading grammar books. You must use it daily. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes, and the faster you will progress. The people who move slowly are often those who wait for the perfect time, the perfect teacher, or the perfect resources. They delay practice, and delay is the biggest enemy of speed. One powerful step is to break the fear of speaking. Many learners understand English but remain silent because they fear being judged, they fear mistakes, or they fear not being perfect. This fear is what keeps them stuck at the same level for years. The way to break this fear is simple. Start speaking immediately with whatever words you have. Even if your grammar is wrong, even if your accent is heavy, even if your vocabulary is small, you must speak. The moment you open your mouth and express yourself, you begin the real journey of fluency. Confidence comes only from doing, never from waiting. Another important step is consistency. Language is not learned in one day. It is learned by repeated exposure and daily habits. Even if you only practice for 10 minutes a day, if you keep this habit for 6 months, you will be far ahead of someone who studies 3 hours only once a week. Small habits done consistently are more powerful than big actions done rarely. Imagine learning one new word every day. In a year, that becomes more than 300 new words. Imagine speaking for 10 minutes daily. In a year, you have hours of speaking practice. Consistency multiplies effort, and effort multiplied becomes fluency. Surrounding yourself with English is another key factor. If you only study English in the classroom or at certain hours, your progress will be slow. But if you make English part of your daily life, your brain will adapt naturally. Change your phone into English, watch your favorite shows without translation, listen to English music, follow social media pages in English, read short articles or posts online. Even if you do not understand everything at first, your brain is learning patterns, sounds, and meanings in the background. Immersion is the secret to learning fast because the more you see and hear English, the more comfortable it becomes. Mistakes should not be seen as failures, but as stepping stones. Many learners stop practicing because they feel embarrassed when they make mistakes. But mistakes are proof that you are trying, and trying is the only path to improvement. Every mistake is feedback. If you mispronounce a word, you now know how to say it correctly. If you use the wrong grammar, you learn the right form after correction. If you forget a word, you are reminded to review it. The person who makes the most mistakes is often the one who learns the fastest because they are actively practicing instead of hiding behind silence. Connecting English to your personal interests is another way to accelerate learning. If you love music, study English songs. If you love sports, read articles about your favorite players in English. If you love business, watch business talks in English. When you connect learning with your passions, your mind becomes excited, and excited minds learn faster. Boring materials kill motivation, but enjoyable materials make learning feel natural. When learning is enjoyable, it no longer feels like work, and that enjoyment pushes you to practice more often, which creates speed. A very effective strategy is to think in English as much as possible. Many learners translate everything from their native language, which slows them down. Instead, train your mind to form simple sentences in English. When you wake up, describe your day in English. When you see something, say its name in English. When you make a plan, think about it in English. At first, it feels slow and strange, but the more you do it, the faster your brain becomes at switching directly into English. This habit builds fluency inside your head before it even comes out of your mouth. Finally, share what you learn with others. If you learn a new word, use it in a sentence with a friend. If you study a grammar point, explain it to someone else in simple language. If you watch a video, summarize it for others. Sharing turns passive knowledge into active knowledge, and active knowledge stays longer in your memory. The more you share, the more confident you become, and confidence is the greatest speed booster. Teaching does not require you to be an expert. It only requires you to share what you already know, and in the process, you learn even more. When people talk about learning English quickly, they often imagine it requires expensive courses, advanced schools, or special natural talent. In reality, speed in learning comes from mindset and method, not from money or background. The first step is to stop believing that English is something only for the gifted or privileged. English is a skill, and every skill can be built with time, focus, and practice. If a child in any part of the world can learn it, so can you. The difference is not ability, it is persistence. Once you accept this truth, the process becomes less about fear and more about action. One of the strongest ways to accelerate your learning is by creating constant exposure. Imagine a baby learning its first language. That baby hears it every day from parents, from the environment, from songs, from conversations. The baby does not sit in a classroom memorizing words. It simply absorbs them through repetition. You can create the same effect by surrounding yourself with English at all times. Listen to English music, watch movies without subtitles. Follow social media channels in English, listen to podcasts, read short posts, label items in your room with their English names. The more you hear and see, the faster your brain adapts. Your environment becomes your teacher, and when the environment teaches you, the learning never stops. Another important factor is to speak from day one. Many learners delay speaking because they think they need more vocabulary or better grammar first. But waiting is the biggest mistake. Language exists for communication, not for perfection. Even if you know only a few words, try to use them in real sentences. Even if your grammar is broken, express yourself. Even if your pronunciation is not perfect, speak with confidence. The sooner you start speaking, the faster your brain adjusts and the more comfortable you become. Silence is the slowest path, practice is the fastest. Speaking is like exercise. The more you do it, the stronger your language muscles become. Mistakes must be treated as lessons, not as enemies. Every successful learner has a history of mistakes, sometimes thousands of them. The only difference is they did not stop. Mistakes are like mirrors showing you what to improve. If you mispronounce, you learn the correct sound. If you use the wrong tense, you learn the right one. If you forget a word, you are reminded to practice it again. Mistakes guide you toward mastery. Without them, you remain stuck. The faster you make mistakes, the faster you discover solutions, and the faster you grow. Consistency is another non-negotiable step. Imagine watering a plant. If you pour water once a month in large quantity, the plant will die. If you give small amounts of water daily, it will flourish. Learning English is the same. Short, regular practice beats long or regular study sessions. Even 10 minutes daily is more powerful than 3 hours once a week. Consistency trains your brain to treat English as a normal part of life. Over time, this habit becomes natural, and natural habits always create speed. Linking English to your personal passions is another way to learn faster. If you enjoy sports, read about sports in English. If you enjoy cooking, watch recipes in English. If you love technology, follow tech blogs in English. When learning connects with something you already enjoy, your brain learns faster and remembers longer. Boring materials slow you down because your mind resists them. Interesting materials accelerate you because your mind welcomes them. Passion makes practice effortless, and effortless practice is the secret to lightning speed. Thinking in English is also a powerful accelerator. Many learners translate every sentence in their head from their native language, which wastes time and energy. Instead, train your brain to think directly in English. Start with simple thoughts, what you are doing, what you see around you, what you plan for the day. Describe them in English silently to yourself. At first it feels slow, but soon your brain stops translating and starts operating directly in English. This shift is one of the most important steps to fluency, because fluency is not only about speaking fast, it is about thinking fast in the language. Finally, share what you learn. When you explain something to another person, you are forced to organize your thoughts and use the language actively. Teaching others makes knowledge permanent in your mind. Share new words with friends, explain grammar in simple terms, write short posts online in English, record yourself teaching on video. It does not matter how small your knowledge is, sharing multiplies it. When you give, you also grow. The act of teaching builds confidence, and confidence speeds up learning because it removes hesitation and fear. Every time you share, you strengthen your own foundation and push yourself one step closer to fluency.